Well, the shocker on Friday night in college football, Syracuse knocks off number 2 Clemson at the Carrier Dome, 27-24. Their quarterback, Eric Dungy, 278 through the air and 3 touchdowns. Matt Park is the voice of the Orange and joins us here on Big Board Sports in Albany. Roger Weiland, along with Chris Honorato. Matt, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, Matt. How, wow. I mean, what a win by SU. And I saw this morning on Mike and Mike, Dino Babers, his post-game celebration with his team. That was some win, Matt. What's your take and going into that one? I mean, the double-digit line and all of that, but boy, they played great, didn't they?
Well, they did, and a lot of it had to do with knocking out Clemson's quarterback, who already was a young guy to begin with. But when the backup's in the game, and that was because of good, tough, clean, physical play, then I think you're dealing with somebody that's maybe a little less prepared to lead Clemson on a comeback in a road environment like that. The crowd was into it. It's the type of thing where you needed all of these things to kind of come together in order to pull off an upset like that, and they did. And Babers is really smart. He knows how to kind of message his program when the microphones and cameras are rolling, and he's done a great job with it.
No doubt. What can this do for the program in general, Matt, with a win like this? I know had a big win way back in '84 over Nebraska when Nebraska was number 1, but what can this right now do for this program?
Well, the Nebraska win went a long way toward at least temporarily saving Coach Mack's job, and then it was a little kind of sketchy for him a couple of years after that, and then, of course, the '87 season happened. But it put Syracuse football on the map, and it hadn't been for years, and that's what this one could be. Syracuse hasn't been ranked in forever, and to win like that opens the door to the national exposure. First of all, the game in the first place was on national TV on a Friday night. Then you get Babers with kind of the speech going viral and the invite to be on a national radio and television show this morning. And the catch, I guess, is that in this league, you get right back on the road against an unbeaten and top 10 team this week against Miami. So the idea of following that up is going to be awfully difficult. If they were somehow able to do that and win this week, now you're really blowing the top off of things and kind of resetting the standard for this season, because you'd be ranked and you'd be pretty much a lock for a bowl and everything else. So we'll see. I think there's a lot of ripple effects of this one still to come.
Matt, what did Syracuse do right Friday night? Because as much as of the Oranges I've watched, I've known a couple of things. They're going to put up points. This offense, even before Babers, they were able to score points in a lot of ways, and Eric Dungy is going to get his yards. He's going to throw for a bunch, and he's even usually going to run for a bunch. Outside of that, though, what did this Syracuse team do so right Friday night in order to knock off Clemson?
Well, one thing was the absence of the big gap, and there was actually one, and they were able to overcome that with a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Other than that, Clemson didn't really move the ball a great deal. The defense was awesome. Their third down defense has been great for the year. They put pressure on the quarterback. They had 4 sacks. I think they were able to move the ball efficiently and keep possession and keep the clock running. They had a high time of possession in the game. We kind of joke about it here. Dante Strickland, I'm not sure you could run away from the popcorn vendor sometimes, but he, doesn't have a run for the season of longer than 14 yards. He doesn't have a run in the last 2 weeks of longer than 9 yards, but he's really picked up 3 and 4 yard chunks when they were needed, when everybody in the house knew they were going to run the football. And there's something to be said for that, because Dungy can't be the lone running game. And I think there's different names and different people being involved. So right now it's all good stuff. I think this is a real opportunity to be a team-building kind of win.
Well, Matt, it doesn't take long for, and of course I do play-by-play for the University of Albany football and basketball, and I know there'll be that overlap here coming up sooner than later with the basketball season ready to go, and you won't be done with football yet, but here comes the hoop season. What's your early thoughts on Jim Boeheim and the Orange this year?
Well, it's hard to say. I think the team is so new this year. The loss of Torian Thompson on the first day of school is a big deal. That's a guy that you'd like not to see walk away from your program with really no time to make up for that. But Syracuse will go into every game with Tyus Battle, who's going to be as good a player as there is in the ACC. He's an absolute stud. He's not going to sneak up on anybody, though. So the challenge with him this year will be getting his own shot and trying to be consistently a contributor in that 18 to 20 point per game range because they'll need him. And then from there, it's going to be a lot of youth and just new pieces, outside of, let's say, like a Frank Howard. And I think it's a question as to what he's going to give. But O'Shea Brissett, the freshman from Canada, is a tremendous-looking athlete. I think that's the strength of this team, and it really has been of the program in recent years, is their athleticism. So there's some possibilities there. Baruma Sidibe, the big guy from New Jersey that's a freshman, has been sort of exceeding expectations in practice so far. So that's a ways off, and we'll kind of watch them ease into it here in the pre-conference schedule.
And Jim Boeheim, when you guys were in town not that long ago, seems to be rejuvenated, seems to be ready to go. All those retirement stories that we dealt with,
baby.
They are way gone, Matt.
Yeah, well, he's, and now with his son on the way to play here, there's really no end in sight for Coach Boeheim's tenure, and that's just the way he wants it. And he's as sharp as he ever was in terms of his talent evaluation and putting things together. And so can't really wait to see just how he works his magic with this group.
Hey, Matt, one question on Coach Boeheim with, as you mentioned, Buddy coming in. Who is the player you've seen him coach the toughest, and is it safe to assume he'll just simply coach his son as tough as anybody?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's a very shrewd evaluator, as we've talked about, and I don't think he pulls any punches with his kids. I mean, I've heard him just in downtime. We might be at the radio show, and he's talking. He'd either be trying to check in on his kid's game, or running off to it, or watching Jimmy's prep school games on his phone, or something like that. And he'll tell you what he thinks. He'll evaluate them like any other kid, their strengths and weaknesses, and obviously his heart is in it. But he's seen a lot of ball, and he knows what they're capable of. The fact that Jimmy's playing at Cornell, and that's the opening game of the season, that's pretty cool. Related to Buddy, he's a better prospect because of his athleticism. He's he's a little bit bigger, excellent shooter, can run a little better. So looking to see how he fits in here.
Matt, looking forward to it all. I'm sure we'll be back in touch maybe before this football season. So we'll see if Syracuse can build on the huge win over Clemson. But, Matt, we appreciate a few minutes here on Big Board Sports in Albany.
Yeah, anytime, Roger, Chris. Thank you.